a wonderful job.
Mind your own business.
I'm gonna light them on fire. She said the mattress is on fire.
That your daughter is here.
To our channel. In today's video, we take you on an exciting journey from the dramatic situations caused by Karen to the decisive actions. You will clearly see how inappropriate behavior can lead to serious consequences. Let's watch. On May 23rd, 2023, at a KFC restaurant on a Florida street, we dive into a typical fast food scene that has undergone a major transformation. The protagonist of our story, a protagonist of our story, a customer known only as Karen finds herself embroiled in a tense confrontation with a KFC employee. This is over what is believed to be an error in her order. As tensions rise, so does the intensity of their exchange. The camera follows Karen as she approaches the counter. Her posture and facial expression clearly indicate her frustration. She clutches her receipt, her eyes scanning the menu as if it holds the key to resolving her complaint. Karen's dissatisfaction begins when she claims that her order is incorrect. Her complaints are about missing items and the quality of what she received. She felt that the service provided did not meet her expectations, and she was determined to speak up. The KFC employee, a young woman named Sarah, listened attentively as Karen began to state her complaint. Despite her calm demeanor, Sarah's eyes revealed the tension of the situation. Karen began in a heated tone, repeatedly complaining that she had ordered a large Pepsi but received a small one and that her fries were cold. As Sarah checked her order, Karen's frustration only grew. She continued to raise her voice, drawing the attention of other customers. The atmosphere in the restaurant began to change from casual dining to tense.
This is true, Karen.
Your fries are not worth $8.99, and neither is your gravy. You gotta offer me more than that and appease me for not having this already. I'm giving you another.
Sarah tried to diffuse the situation, but Karen's frustration did not subside. She insisted on speaking to the manager and continued to threaten to leave a negative review online. Her complaints became louder and louder, making the scene even more tense. Karen's anger was at its peak. She declared that she would make sure everyone knew about the poor service here if the staff didn't fix it. Sarah stepped away for a moment to call the manager, hoping that their intervention would calm the situation. The manager arrived and introduced himself. His presence was intended to create a sense of authority and resolution. He greeted Karen and asked for details about her complaint. The manager listened carefully and gave a polite but firm response. He apologized for the oversight and assured Karen that her concerns would be addressed. He offered to replace her drink and fries immediately and give her a discount on her current order as a gesture of goodwill. Karen's reaction was mixed. Although she initially seemed somewhat pleased with the offer, her mood quickly turned to displeasure. She continued to express her displeasure, threatening to make matters worse.
I will do everything that I can to make sure that nobody ever orders from this store ever again, because you don't appease your customers when you screw up.
Despite the manager's attempts to resolve the situation amicably, Karen focused on the perceived slight. Her frustration continued as she repeated the threat of a negative review. KFC employees, including Sarah and the manager, worked diligently to correct the mistake and ensure that Karen's new order was prepared to her liking. Meanwhile, the atmosphere in the restaurant returned to normal, but the tension remained. Karen eventually left the restaurant with her corrected order.
Just so you guys all know, you guys are all doing a wonderful job.
Mind your own business.
I'm just telling them because you're making them feel like crap, and I want to build them up.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
And you're doing a wonderful job, so thank you.
Karen's actions clearly showed that she was deliberately trying to provoke trouble in order to gain more benefits from the restaurant. Instead of calmly resolving the situation, she chose to express her frustration through screaming. If this continued, she would have faced serious legal charges and possible physical assault. According to Florida Statutes, Chapter 784, Section 03, battery is defined as an act that intentionally causes bodily harm to another person, or an act that causes another person to feel immediately attacked. Depending on the nature of the harm and the severity of the situation, the individuals involved will be sentenced to 5 to 30 years in prison and must pay restitution for the cost of causing the loss. The next disturbing incident occurred when Karen, clearly agitated, took matters into her own hands in an attempt to remove homeless people from what she described as her husband's property. The incident occurred on December 10th, 2023, in a Florida neighborhood where homeless people had set up a makeshift camp. Tensions were simmering in the community and were about to reach a boiling point. The woman under investigation, angry and determined, resorted to extreme measures in an attempt to remove the homeless people from what she described as her husband's property. Armed with a spray bottle and a lighter, the woman's actions were nothing short of alarming. Witnesses said she began by setting fire to mattresses and other belongings belonging to the homeless campers. Not only was the act of arson dangerous, it also set off a chain reaction that led to her arrest. Witnesses said the woman was initially heard making disturbing threats. She reportedly shouted that she would set the homeless campers on fire if they did not leave. And her threats quickly escalated, and the fire she started spread, endangering everyone present. One witness described being suddenly awakened by a loud bang and seeing the woman attempting to set fire to mattresses and other belongings.
I'm gonna check on the smoke down here.
Yeah, one of the guys
Okay. Everything. All right. Tell me what happened.
I was asleep in my camp. She was out here like schizophrenic, yelling stuff or whatever, and it's not uncommon, you know. And she was telling us to leave, and we just ignored her. And then next thing I know, she has that spray bottle and a lighter, and she had a blanket wall on that side with mattresses and stuff. She lit it on fire.
Okay. Can you show me?
Yeah. Two mattresses and scattered right here. And I had a blanket wall just like that side.
You know this girl? Does she stay down here?
No, she lives over there.
Oh, she lives on.
Yeah,
So did she just walk up on the camp?
Yeah, and something assaulting her daughter. I don't know what she's talking about. This
The
is her
stuff she
land.
was saying to me?
Yeah. She said, you need to get off my back. I said, oh, well, get me off. I told her. And then she grabs a fucking thing here and tries to torch me with it.
Oh, the aerosol and the lighter?
Yeah.
Did she spray it and light it at all?
Exactly. Just like that. She tried to spray me with it. I had to run away from her. She sprayed him and got him on the back. Yeah. Then tried to light him on fire. Yeah. Somewhere. I don't know where it's at, though. I just know she tried to spray me with that.
So how close was she standing to you?
The ensuing chaos left several people struggling to extinguish the flames,
What's
while
going
the
on
woman
down here?
continued her assault. As the situation
Okay,
became
can you come
more
up here and talk to
volatile,
me, please?
law enforcement was called to the scene.
Okay, I'll come to
Responding
you.
officers faced a difficult situation as they attempted to control the chaos and investigate the woman's actions. And upon arrival, they were met with resistance from the woman who insisted that they were violating her rights.
Well, that's the law. That's what I'm trying to investigate. What's going on down here?
I want these people off my husband's land. And I have every right to remove them.
Who do you need to remove? Who are you trying to remove?
That's it. You're not in your jurisdiction.
I'm not.
I will take care of these people. If they want to talk to you, let them tell you what their names are. I don't give a what their names are.
I never even asked for
I
your
don't
name.
care what their names are. I want them off my husband's land.
Okay.
My name is Colby.
Okay.
Go by Purple, Miss Purple. I want these people off my husband's land. I got this fire under control. They will
Okay. Can I come down there? I'm trying to help you out.
Check before you come down here.
Check what?
Call into your superior.
Okay.
Check first before you come down here. That way. you stay
Okay,
in
but
my
if I come down there, you're not going to threaten me?
I'm not threatening you.
Okay, well,
I would like for you to call your superior
All right.
to make sure you stay in right standing.
Okay.
If you come down here, you're not in right standing.
okay.
The woman's confrontation with the police was marked by confusion and defiance. She repeatedly questioned the authority of the police and asked them to verify their authority before intervening. Despite her claims, the officers had clear legal grounds to prosecute the arson and assault. The arrest was a tense affair.
Call your superior.
Drop it? Okay.
Call your superior
Okay.
before you come any further. For y'all.
He's on his way.
Could you call and make sure? Because if y'all are on this dirt right here, you're not in right standing anymore.
Why is that?
Because it's the imminent transient domain. Call and check it out.
There's no such thing.
Call it, check it out.
Okay.
Don't tell me there's no such thing. There's no reason I have to lie to you. That's whenever I have fought hard for y'all. Imminent transient domain.
Okay, well, the imminent transient domain is to pick up their trash.
That's what I am here doing. This is my husband's land. That's what I have been coming down here doing steadily.
What's your husband's name?
My husband's name is Apodaka. My firstborn. I have not read it in long, but I was passed word of mouth from my elder that y'all being down here, you're not in right stand. Would you check that out on the law books? And just check it out. Just check it out. Because it's really important to me that y'all are in right standing.
I believe we are.
Yes, I'm glad because it wasn't that way just here recently.
Okay.
It was real ugly. And I have raised a lot of ruckus.
This aerosol can and the lighter, is that yours?
Yes.
Okay, what are you doing with that?
I told them that they could either, or I was gonna move them out.
And move them out
And
how?
so whenever I cut the strings on their tent, because she refused to, they refused to leave. She got sideways with me, but wouldn't come out of the tent.
Okay.
And I told her, you could leave, or I will light your tent on fire.
Okay, and then what did you do next?
I went to AutoZone.
Despite the woman's insistence that the officers had no authority and that they needed to check their credentials, the police proceeded to arrest her. She was charged with arson, assault, resisting arrest, and possession of a controlled substance. Her refusal to cooperate and her claims of violation of her constitutional rights further complicated the situation.
A lighter.
Okay. And then what'd you do?
And then I came back and did what I said I was gonna do. I walked them off my husband's land. They did not blink twice about stalking my daughter and her family, her little family.
So
Little children in her house in Irvine, Texas. And then they had the canisters, those canisters that go on the big gun that came back from Afghanistan.
okay.
And if they would have just left, I plan to contain that fire. But I won't point it at you.
No.
I'm sure.
No demonstration.
Sure, one of you guys know what.
No
what to do with
demonstration
that,
needed.
right?
Yeah. How close were you?
Obviously not close enough.
Okay.
Obviously not close enough.
Where did you put that lighter?
It's in my pocket.
Okay. After your plan of lighting stuff on fire, what were you gonna do after? And then what?
They're gonna leave and they're gonna stay gone, and I'm gonna continue to pick up this mess and haul it out of here to the dumpsters. The lady at the self-checkout at La Tienda, the extra bag, she folds them up for me.
Okay.
The arresting officers were forced to deal not only with the chaos, but also with the woman's belligerence. Her resistance was evident as she continued to argue about her legal status and constitutional rights, even as she was being arrested. The legal consequences for this woman are significant. Charged with arson, she faces charges of intentionally setting fire to another person's property, endangering life. The assault charge stems from her actions toward the homeless person and the police officers who were also subjected to her aggression. Resisting arrest makes the situation worse, while the possession of drugs complicates her legal situation.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Put your other hand on your back, please. I don't want to force it back.
That's whenever
Put your hand on your back. Put your hand on your back.
y'all are out of jurisdiction. Y'all are not in your jurisdiction to be down here. Period.
All right. Stand up for me.
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. Nope. Y'all are in the wrong. Y'all shouldn't even be walking down here. And that's the law. I'm being dead serious. You need to check it out before you drag me on. Hands in my pockets, and they're men. They're men with their hands in my pockets. Y'all are breaking my constitutional rights. Yes, you are. You're violating my constitutional rights. It's my constitutional rights that you can't put your hands in my pockets and that a man can't have his hands in my pockets. You're infringing upon my constitutional rights right here. You are exactly fondling me.
All right. Have a seat for me.
Y'all are gonna find that I wasn't lying to you.
Okay. Thank you.
I said it 3 times. You can review your camera.
Okay. You said Colby, so.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Review.
Okay. Well, if you don't tell me your real name, you'll
I
sit.
told you my real name. Review your camera.
You'll sit
Don't
in-
call me a liar.
You'll sit in jail.
State police say it's not a fact. It's okay because you resist.
According to Florida statute, chapter 806, section 01, arson is a crime. Arson is the intentional burning or burning of real property, personal property, or a structure with the intent to cause harm or destruction. This includes burning a home, vehicle, or any other property. Karen's actions constitute a second-degree felony when the arson results in minor property damage. This crime carries a sentence of up to 5 years in prison and a fine of up to $10,000. Resisting a peace officer is defined in Florida statutes, chapter 843, section 02. This law covers the crime of resisting a police officer with or without violence. Resisting with violence includes actively resisting or obstructing a police officer with physical force, while resisting without violence is nonviolent obstruction. Karen's actions, including her attempts to resist being handcuffed and obstructing arrest, fall within this legal framework. The law classifies these actions as a violation of law enforcement procedures. In addition, with the possession of a controlled substance, Karen will certainly have a difficult time in court, as the sentence could put her in prison for over 10 years and a fine. of up to $50,000, depending on the amount of controlled substances she had in her possession. Erin has done a lot of bad things, but you would never believe that this mother Karen left her child in the car so she could go drink. Hey, on December 2nd, 2023, in a quiet suburb of Florida, a disturbing incident occurred that captured the attention of local authorities and the public. What began as a normal evening ended in a series of alarming events that raised serious questions about parental responsibility and child safety. And on a seemingly normal night, a 7-year-old girl was left alone in an unlocked car while her mother went out to a bar. The parking lot, usually a place of routine and predictable activity, became the setting for a troubling story that was about to unfold. Just after midnight, the mother, Veronica Elliott, 35, made the fateful decision to leave her young daughter alone. As the clock ticked away, the child remained in the car, unattended and vulnerable. The hours passed slowly. At around 3 a.m., after 3 hours alone, the girl decided to leave the car. Her search for her mother led her to a nearby bar, a place where adults gathered to socialize and drink. When the child arrived at the bar, it was closing time. The staff were preparing to close, unaware that the girl, disoriented and frightened, was about to enter their establishment. The sight of a child alone in such a setting was both alarming and distressing. Inside, the bar staff were stunned by the girl's sudden appearance. She was clearly distressed and in need of help. Her brave attempt to find her mother in a place she knew was her only option left. As she wandered around the bar, she attracted the attention of several patrons. The girl led the officers to the car, which was still parked in the lot. Her description of her mother's clothing and the condition of the car provided vital information to the officers. They began a search, trying to piece together the events of the night and locate their missing mother. Hours passed, and just before sunrise at 6:30 a.m., Veronica Elliott reappeared in the parking lot. Her appearance was marked by a disturbing sight, barefoot, covered in dirt, and clearly under the influence of alcohol. The contrast between her condition and the events that had preceded her was stark and disturbing.
She walked up to one, but I can't see where because she turned the lights off.
The police, already concerned about the circumstances, were stunned by Elliott's condition. The fact that she had been found in such a state after her daughter had been alone for hours added to their concerns.
She was wearing a long sleeve shirt, and then she wore some shorts.
Found her.
And the officers questioned Elliott about her actions and her daughter's well-being. The officers struggled to understand how a mother could leave her young child unattended for such a long time. Their questions were met with apologies that did not diminish the seriousness of the situation. It was clear that the consequences of the events that night were profound.
You realize that 6:30 in the morning, right?
I do now.
And you realize that your daughter, 7?
Yes.
7 years old, has been by herself with us for 4?
No.
For 4 hours? What are you doing? That your daughter is here by herself at 7 years old, where she's terrified and goes into the bar.
Following the incident, Veronica Elliott faced serious legal consequences. Charged with child neglect, she was held in neglect. She was held accountable for her actions and the impact they had on her daughter. The case is a stark reminder of the responsibilities that come with being a parent and the importance of protecting the well-being of children. According to Florida statutes, Chapter 39, Section 01, child neglect is defined as the failure of a child's caregiver to meet the child's basic needs, including food, shelter, medical care, education, and protection from harm. This can include failing to provide health care, failing to provide a safe place to live, or leaving the child in a dangerous situation. If the neglect does not result in serious injury or a high risk of harm, it can be charged as a Class 3 felony. Now, the mother could face up to 5 years in prison and a fine up to $5,000. All right, fellas, what do you think? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more interesting and educational content in the future. Thanks for your support.